Hi, my name is Alexander Kurtz. I'm an assistant research professor here at Arizona State University. I'll be working with school and district leaders, as well as teachers like yourself, to successfully implement the educator and principal evaluation systems for the SSI project. I'm specifically interested in linking the teacher evaluation process and the data that's gathered for it with professional development. For so many years we've worked on one-size-fits-all professional development, and I think all the data that we're using for the SSI project can be used to customize and tailor teachers' professional development. I am a former special education teacher. I started out in special education in 1997 as a classroom assistant, and I've been in the field ever since. I worked with families directly as a behavior analyst. I worked as a high school teacher for several years in Tennessee and San Diego. In the end, though, I went back to the university and focused on research. The Instructional Learning Opportunities Guidance System, or MyiLOGS as we call it, is an online teacher log that teachers can use to keep track of one of their classes, focusing on the key objective of one lesson, and also talk a little bit about the instructional time use as well as different types of instructional practices. It was developed a couple of years back with teachers from South Carolina, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. We know from prior studies that it is very quick to complete, and we provide teachers with graphical reports of their instructional data. So they can use this information to make database decisions about instructional changes. Now, let's just take a quick look at the calendar so you see the basic interface and how easy and quick it is to use. So here's the MyiLOGS website. Now, before we get into the website and take a quick look at the calendar and what's involved in completing MyiLOGS, let me make clear that engagement in MyiLOGS is completely voluntary. But by doing so, you not only gain extra credit and professional development hours, you also will be able to use the data that comes out of MyiLOGS for a very personalized professional development experience in year 2 of the SSI project. So we strongly encourage you to pick one of your classes and start keeping track of your instruction. Once you've passed the online training and are a qualified MyiLOGS user, you'll be given a username and password. So we'll type in one of the training accounts for now. And on the landing page, you will keep track of one of the classes you're interested in. Now in this case, there are 2. I'm going to just click here on the math class. So here's the calendar. All the information that you will enter with respect to this one class is entered through this calendar. It's very easy to use, and completing the record, the log so to speak, for this one class typically only takes 5 to 10 minutes per week. So it's a very modest time investment, and at the end I will also show you some of the reports that you get back that you can use for instructional decision making. On the left hand side is your intended curriculum. Now we feature the Common Core standards for math and English language arts, but you also have an ability to enter any kind of custom objective that you find valuable. Now you may be a PE teacher, or a health teacher, or a science teacher. Now in that case, you can simply go under the custom objectives, which is this little tab with the green plus sign, and under add edit, you can enter any of those standards that you are interested in. Now I'm just going to enter this one right up here. It's a health standard for 8th grade, update custom instruction. And when you go back to the calendar, you should see right down here, analyze the nutritional values of new products and supplements. So if there are 10, 15 standards for your particular curriculum, go ahead and enter them there and you'll be able to keep track of it. Now for our example right now, I'm going to say I'm teaching a 8th grade math class. And today's Monday, November 4th, and we really focused on understanding the properties of functions. You can see if you hover over the standard, you get a longer explanation, and then you drag and drop it over, and my lesson is typically 50 minutes long, 60 minutes long, but today I probably spent about 50 minutes of those 60 on the properties of functions. So what about the other remaining 10 minutes? Well, the first 10 minutes were taken away by classroom announcements. So that was time that wasn't available for instruction. So I'm going to give that, let's just say 5 minutes. And then also I have a problem of the day that I start out with, and that's about 5 minutes as well. Well, that's essentially it. Most teachers do this at the end of the day. They spend a minute or two on completing this one class. And you may notice these 2 days that are shaded in red on the calendar. Now, we call those detail days because on those days, you are asked to provide a few more details on those objectives you put on the calendar, details around the cognitive processes, instructional practices, and grouping formats. Nonetheless, this should not exceed 5 to 10 minutes total for an entire week of logging. And if you keep this up, after each quarter, you'll be alerted to a report. They're right up here, reports. And I want to show you an example of a teacher that has already completed it. Let's go to the beginning here. This is one example. And as part of the SSI project, we are actually teaching you the use of data that comes not just from MyiLOGS, but the CSS, the Danielson framework, the formative assessments, etc., to make really data-based decisions for instructional change. Now, in this example, you can take a look at the 2 bars. The bar on the left-hand side always represents a teacher's allocated time. And red is time not available for instruction. Now, you can look across the year and see where this particular teacher had a lot of non-instructional time. It was the last month of school where a lot of non-instructional activities took place. Blue, for example, talks about time on standards. Pretty low here and then ramps up as we're moving towards the state test. Something that makes good sense. Also, custom objectives decrease as we're moving forward and towards the state test. There are a range of other reports, and you'll be trained in the use of them. Some of these reports, of course, are pretty intuitive. Here you can see all the Common Core state standards for math, 8th grade, and the ones which I've taught. Here's like spent 10 hours on understanding function, but also the areas I haven't spent any time on yet. And that may be because my kids have already mastered those particular objectives, or because I haven't had time yet to address those objectives. So in a nutshell, that's MyiLOGS, and I'm looking forward to be working with you on using this tool. Again, if you have any questions, drop me an email, and thanks again for watching. So once again, thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to working with you. Good luck with the MyiLOGS online training. Even myself, I had to work a little bit on passing the assessment, so take your time. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'd be happy to work with you. And again, I'll be seeing you in New Jersey sometime soon. Take care. Bye.